for the secretary, because the fact of the matter is, a half a dozen violent criminals that you're rotating on your.
I also want to talk about specifically how many of our ICE agents have been docked and what they have tried to insert into the state. So I want to say thank you to every single person that has been able to do this.
Hands up, hands up.
Also, I want to talk specifically
I have
to the
questions for
rioters and
the
to the
secretary,
politicians.
because the fact of the matter is, a half a dozen violent criminals that you're rotating on your.
I also want to talk about specifically how many of our ICE agents have been doxxed for doing their duty, how they have been targeted, and how their families have had a great conversation, sat down, talked for 10, 15 minutes about operations in LA, some activities of the Department of Homeland Security, and so I thought it was very productive, and I wish that he would have reached out and identified himself and let us know who he was and that he wanted to talk. His approach, was something that I don't think was appropriate at all. But the conversation was great, and we're going to continue to communicate. We exchanged phone numbers, and we're going to continue to talk on ways we can communicate better.
Why did you detain him? Why was that the action you decided to take?
I'll let the law enforcement speak to how this situation was handled, but I will say that it's people need to identify themselves before they start lunging at people that during press conferences.
So I've just watched the video of the abuse of Senator Padilla, and I'm just disgusted by what I saw. He went to this briefing. He had questions for the secretary. He has every right to ask questions. Indeed, that is his responsibility. And to be treated the way he was, to be essentially brought to the ground and shackled after identifying himself, is a disgraceful action. Kristi Noem should never have been appointed to that office. She should resign from that office. There ought to be an investigation of the conduct of those officers. She may not want to answer questions. Indeed, she doesn't want to answer questions because the actions of the administration have been disgraceful, both in how they have conducted their indiscriminate raids and how they have separated families, but also by abusing the military in the way they have, by calling out the National Guard over the objections of the governor of California, mobilizing the Marines when it was utterly unnecessary and in violation of the law. And Alex Padilla had every right to go into that room and demand answers. That is what a senator does. And for him to get that kind of abusive treatment, every senator who works in this Capitol should be offended by this and outraged by this. And I know I speak for millions and millions of Californians. We are grateful to have Senator Padilla's leadership. He is well respected here on both sides of the aisle. We're proud of him standing up for our mutual constituents. And the way he was treated and abused today is just disgraceful. But it shows the utter disregard that this administration has for any bounds of law or civility, any appreciation of the separation of powers between the branches of government, and that it has already descended to this within the first 150 days tells us what a terrible period is yet to come for the country.
Anyone who looks at it turns anyone who looks at this, it will turn their stomach to look at this video and see what happened. Reeks of totalitarianism. This is not what democracies do.
This is a horrifying moment in our nation's history. Today, United States Senator Alex Padilla was violently removed from a public briefing for asking questions on behalf of the people he represents. People in California who deserve answers about the brutal crackdown on protesters. I've watched the video, as many of you have as well. Let me just describe what it shows. Officers pushed Senator Padilla backwards out of the room as he said the words, "I am Senator Padilla. I have questions for the secretary." He was then shoved to the ground. When the senator complied with the officers and went on his knees, he was forcibly pinned onto his stomach. He was ordered to put his hands behind his back. He can be heard on the video saying he is trying to comply with their orders. Officers then put handcuffs on the senator while he was lying on the ground. His staff was then told to stop recording the handcuffing. He was put in handcuffs for asking a simple question. He was put in handcuffs for doing his job as a United States Senator. He was put in handcuffs for standing up for the Constitution of the United States. He was put in handcuffs for representing the people of California.
Hi, I'm Monty Torres with Fox 26 News on YouTube. Thank you for checking out our YouTube channel, where we have loads of great content for you to choose from. And while you're here, why not click on the subscribe button right here? That way you can stay in touch with all the latest breaking news, everything news related within the Central Valley. And thank you for watching.